Over the last 3 years, Nico Harrison has put on a masterclass performance as a GM of just improving the roster year over year through addition, subtraction, getting drafts, and trades. And even though this team made it to the NBA Finals, we didn't win the Finals. And we're not satisfied with just making the Finals. We want to win the Finals. And we saw over the offseason and free agency, Nico Harrison was aggressive in his pursuit of players that he believes can help this team win the Finals next year or maybe the next few years to come. We went out and got Quentin Grimes. We got Klay Thompson. And we also got Naji Marshall when we unfortunately couldn't convince Derrick Jones Jr. to come back for the Dallas Mavericks. And in an article that came out just the other day, details exactly what happened between the Dallas Mavericks and Derrick Jones Jr. as to why he didn't come back. So in this video, we're going to take a look at this article, break it down, and see whether or not Derrick Jones Jr. should have stayed or if he had every right to leave. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, only 9.4% of you guys have that bell notification turned on. I'm trying to bring you guys the best content possible, as frequent as possible. And you already know, it might be the off season, but it's not my off season. And if you want to be up to date on every single thing that's Mavericks related, make sure you ring that bell so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But Derrick Jones Jr. was a player that we did pick up last season with our 15th spot. Went to Derrick Jones Jr. over Theo Pinson, a player that was just meant to just come off the bench, provide some defense, a little bit of offense. Derrick Jones Jr. is a high-flying athlete known for his alley-oop slam dunk finishes. I mean, he won a dunk contest, but this past season with the Dallas Mavericks, he kind of showed that he can still evolve his game, as he did shoot his best from the three-point line. He became just one of the best point-of-attack defenders, one of our premier on-ball defenders. Derrick Jones Jr. definitely transformed himself, rebranded himself as a player, and definitely earned his starting role with the Dallas Mavericks, where he did help us win a bunch of games down the stretch on the second half of the season and leading into the playoffs. And you could argue that he is the reason why we even made it to the finals. But as we all know, unfortunately, he didn't choose to come back to the Dallas Mavericks after saying that he loved it here and he wanted to come back. Apparently, he wanted some other things, and he did take a slightly bigger contract to go with the Los Angeles Clippers. But there was an article that did come out just the other day saying that Derrick Jones Jr. reveals why he left the Dallas Mavericks for the LA Clippers. Fans were sad to see Jones Jr. leave, but he has a chance to lead with the Clippers, and I'm definitely one of those fans that was sad to see him go. Although it was very quick, the moment we signed Naji Marshall, a few hours later, the news broke out that Derrick Jones Jr. was signing with the LA Clippers. And so, am I happy that we have Naji Marshall? Of course. If you haven't seen Naji Marshall's headlines, I don't know what you're doing. The guy's a dog. He choked Jimmy Butler in a game. This guy is, they call him the knife for a reason. I don't know if it's because he likes 21 Savage or what, but the man plays great defense. He can also pass the ball very well. If we need him to handle the ball for a little bit, he could definitely do that. He has the ability to do so, as well as his three ball has improved, and the defense, I truly believe, will mimic that of Derrick Jones Jr. or even better. Naji Marshall is definitely an upgrade, and for anybody who thinks that it's not an upgrade and our defense is going to just become abysmal because we don't have Derrick Jones Jr., I want to ask you, and I highly advise you to go watch some Naji Marshall highlights, because after watching those, you'll be drinking the Kool-Aid too. But Derrick Jones Jr. will be missed. The highlights, the flashy dunks, the great moments that we had, it was heartfelt, and fans definitely do feel like we definitely could have brought him back. But the article does continue, saying that the Dallas Mavericks have had a busy offseason, bringing in 3 new players and still having an open roster spot. Part of their offseason was signing Naji Marshall away from the New Orleans Pelicans once it became apparent Derrick Jones Jr. wouldn't return. Instead, he signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. Jones Jr. spoke with reporters at the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas and was asked why he chose the Clippers. He said, "I talked to the ownership, the front office, and the coaching staff. The route they were looking to go to was towards me and have me come in there and fill that 3-4 role. Be aggressive offensively and be who I am defensively. Go out there and try to win a championship." So the Los Angeles Clippers filled his head, just fed him everything that he wanted to hear, that, hey, you could be a starter. You'll be in that role for the whole season. You'll help us win a championship. Instead of choosing to come back to the team that was only 4 wins away from actually winning a championship. So that answer that he gave is pretty interesting to me. And like I said in the intro, I got a few of my own conspiracy theories on why I think he really left. I think the reports are true. He wanted to be a starting forward for a team, a starting wing player for a team. And obviously with the Dallas Mavericks pivoting and wanting to get Klay Thompson as our big target in the offseason, Derrick Jones Jr. saw the writing on the wall that he was not going to be in that starting role, and maybe even hearing about Naji Marshall, Quentin Grimes, he was worried about his starting position. Now, I believe if we kept Derrick Jones Jr., if he did decide to come back and we didn't get Naji Marshall, Derrick Jones Jr. wouldn't be a starter. Obviously, Klay Thompson would. The starting lineup would be Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. I'm sorry, Derrick Lively. Derrick Lively is starting center. That would be our starting five. But if Derrick Jones Jr. came back, he definitely would have been that sixth man off the bench, that spark plug that we would all need, love, and appreciate. It's not like we would just put him to the end of the bench and say, deal with it, you'll get your minutes in garbage time. He would still be a very important piece for this team. And if anyone's injured, he would be the first candidate to fill that role, unless Daniel Gafford or Derrick Lively are hurt. He's not going to play center. But still, Derrick Jones Jr. had value on this team. He had a role, he had a spot, and I think he should have came back. Although I am happy with Naji Marshall for the vibes, for the moments, for all the memories of that one season we had with them. I definitely wish that we could have brought him back. I wish he decided to stay with us. Although I am happy with Naji Marshall. But if we take a look at his stats for last season, Derrick Jones Jr. did average 8.6 points, 3.3 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.7 blocks, 0.7 steals, 0.9 rebounds, and 1.6 fouls per game, while shooting 48% from the floor, 34% from three. He shot 34% on corner threes, 98% of his threes are assisted, and 48% of all shots are threes. And might I add that his three-point shooting was his best in his entire career with the Dallas Mavericks. I mentioned earlier how he really transformed his game. He was able to go from just being this high-flying dunk champion winner like he is, of just being flashy and athletic, to being a more multifaceted player where he is now a defensive threat, where he can lock down your best player. We saw in the first round how he was living in Paul George's jersey, just holding to, I mean, Paul George still scored, but just playing the right defense where we needed it. That's who Derrick Jones Jr. became for us. He was never that way before. And like I said, his three-point shooting was the best in Dallas. And I can't fault a guy that wants to have a bigger role. I mean, Kyrie Irving did that when he left Cleveland to go to Boston. He wanted a bigger role. But like Kyrie Irving, sometimes it's not about you, it's about the team. Because although Kyrie Irving wanted a bigger role in Boston, look where he is now, in Dallas, where you can argue he's not the number one. And I always say that Luke and Kyrie are 1A and 1B. They're two sides of the same coin. But he isn't the de facto number one player. He is a part of a bigger picture, the bigger team, the Dallas Mavericks. And unfortunately, Derrick Jones Jr., in my opinion, is being kind of selfish. He wants to be a starter. He wants a bigger contract, where that contract that we offered him would have been the biggest contract of his career. He never got 3 years, $27 million. That would have been his biggest contract. So I don't really think that the money was the issue. I truly believe it was the starting position. But the article does continue saying that Dallas offered Jones Jr. the same contract Naji Marshall signed for 3 years, $27 million. After taxes, Jones will actually be making less than Marshall, but he had a clear path to start with the Clippers. With the Mavs bringing Klay Thompson and Marshall, it was no guarantee he would have started. He was electric for the Mavs in the playoffs, with his on-ball defense being pivotal on players like Paul George and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and his shooting caught fire in the Oklahoma City series. Unfortunately, his hot shooting couldn't carry over to the NBA Finals, which was a big problem for a lot of our players, not just Derrick Jones Jr., so I'm not going to dogpile on him. No one could shoot. I mean, Kyrie couldn't do anything in Boston. The man walked into TD Garden and forgot that he was Kyrie Irving, even though Luka Doncic, while injured, didn't shoot that well from three. He was the only one that could make threes. So Derrick Jones Jr., although he did have some high moments for us with his defense and three-point shooting, when it mattered most in the finals, he was nowhere to be found. Wasn't able to produce that much. But like I said, it's bigger than the self. The Dallas Mavericks are trying to win a championship. The Los Angeles Clippers, who just lost Paul George, are far from making it back. I mean, they may make the playoffs, but they're not going to make out the first round, especially if somehow they have to see us again. The Clippers are going to get stopped. Without Paul George, Russell Westbrook may leave too. I don't think the Clippers are going to be in any position to be competitive or even just fight for a finals appearance, let alone win the finals. I truly believe that Derrick Jones Jr., one, would have made more money by coming back to the Mavericks, but also would have had a much better chance of winning a championship. But someone like Derrick Jones Jr., who obviously is thinking about himself, wanted that starting position, go right ahead. Like I said earlier, he would have been our sixth man, and everyone would have loved him for it. He would have been one of our most reliable and most valuable pieces off the bench. But sometimes you don't really chase the bag, you chase a starting position. Because like I said, he would have made more money staying with the Dallas Mavericks. But how did Nico feel about this, you may be wondering, because Nico did say that getting Derrick Jones Jr. was 1A, 1B. But Nico Harrison on if he was surprised with Derrick Jones Jr. leaving Dallas, saying, yeah, but honestly, we have Naji, and I'm excited about Naji. I did say Jones was 1A and 1B, and that's how we approached it. He deserved it too, but he made his own choice. So even Nico Harrison, that stone cold killer of a GM, he did say that getting Derrick Jones Jr. to come back was 1A and 1B. But if 1A and 1B doesn't work out, 1C was getting Naji Marshall, which he did get. Naji Marshall was the guy that we all knew, at least Nico Harrison did know, was our backup option. And when Clutch Sports wanted to delay negotiations, Nico wasn't going for none of that. He's like, I got my backup option. Either you take this contract or we're moving. We would love to have you back. You helped us a lot. You were a big part of this success. But we have bigger plans than just for one player. We have plans for this organization. Either you're with us or you're not. And history, I mean, what we saw did happen. He decided to go with the Clippers. We got Naji Marshall, which I think is an upgrade in some aspects. Only time will tell once the season starts on how Naji Marshall fits. But from all the highlights that I saw, Naji Marshall, the knife, is definitely gonna wow a lot of fans. But what do you guys think? Do you think that we should have just gave Derrick Jones Jr. a starting position and more money to try to get him to come back? Or do you like the moves that Nico Harrison didn't make by just pivoting quick to Naji Marshall and signing Klay Thompson? Let me know what you guys think. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this far to the video. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another giveaway. The winner will be announced the first week of August. But till next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.